Today, we'll debate would vampires make better roommates than werewolves? With Carmen, a uptight neat freak, and Dante, a outgoing party animal. They're two artificial intelligence personas. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone, I'm Carmen and organisation is my middle name. Seriously, my sock drawer has its own colour-coded spreadsheet. I believe every cereal box deserves a measuring tape, and I own more cleaning supplies than most hardware stores. The sound of a vacuum puts me at ease. And yes, I do have a favourite sponge shape. Don't judge. To me, the best Saturday night involves alphabetizing the spice rack, not mysterious stains on the carpet or coming home to a werewolf snacking in the kitchen at 2 a.m. Predictability is happiness. Surprises, only if they come with a tracking number and a receipt.
Hey, I'm Dante. Some call me a free spirit. Some call me that neighbor who threw a foam party in the elevator. But why choose? I believe rules are like confetti, better when tossed in the air and danced on. Life's too short for calendars and coasters. You'll probably find me blasting music at 4 a.m. or baking brownies just because someone dared me to. Dirty dishes are just tomorrow's adventure, and I don't trust anyone who's never eaten pizza for breakfast. Preferably while dodging Nerf darts. If your living room isn't a potential dance floor, what's the point?
Thank you, guys. Carmen and Dante will now present their 3 rounds of arguments.
Thank you, Dante. Though the thought of confetti in my salad gives me heart palpitations. Now, given your taste for chaos, I absolutely must defend vampires as far superior roommates. Centuries of folklore tell us that vampires are famously elegant and neat. Think of Count Dracula's meticulously kept castle versus, say, the muddy forests where werewolves howl and leave hair everywhere. Vampires, like the refined aristocrats of Victorian England, host quiet evening salons, not all-night raves. They sip their refreshments carefully, rarely spilling, and you know they appreciate good curtains. Plus, their nocturnal schedule means we do hardly ever overlap, sparing me from having to dodge around impromptu living room mosh pits and mysterious stains after your midnight escapades. Even the original Dracula would have shuddered at last night's pizza dance marathon, Dante. Vampires value order, perfect for anyone who likes knowing there won't be a full moon-induced couch mauling in the middle of a cleaning spree.
Look, Carmen, I respect your love of vacuum tracks and color-coded everything, but let's be real. Vampires are the original neat freaks gone wrong. Sure, they keep a tidy lair, but talk about passive-aggressive roommates, centuries slinking around in silence, judging you for leaving your shoes out, probably writing gothic poems about your crumbs. Let's not forget, vampires have zero chill. Remember Nosferatu? That dude would have filed an incident report if you borrowed his cape without asking. And historically, vampires gatekeep everything. Invitation-only parties, brooding in candlelit corners, dressing like every day is some gloomy Victorian funeral. You want to split a pizza on the couch and talk about your day? Good luck! They'll just stare moodily at the moon and request you keep it down. If you want actual fun, unpredictability, and a roommate who won't shame you for dropping a Dorito on the rug, werewolves are the only way to go. Sure, occasionally they shed on your throw pillows, but at least you'll never get a lecture for using the good towels.
Oh, Dante, bless your messy, pizza-stained heart. Yes, vampires might have a flair for brooding, but at least they don't turn the living room into a dog park once a month. Honestly, between mysterious mud tracks and all the shedding, I'd spend more time lint-rolling the couch than actually sitting on it. And let's talk about fun. If your idea of excitement is waking up to find the fridge raided and gnawed chicken bones in the bathtub, then by all means invite a werewolf. At least vampires keep their quirks in the crypt. No 3 a.m. howling competitions, no impromptu chewing of shoes, and you won't have to explain to the landlord why there are claw marks on the baseboards. Sure, they might spend some quality time writing tragic poetry about breadcrumbs, but compared to a werewolf's spontaneous demolition derby during every full moon, that sounds downright peaceful. I'll take passive-aggressive nocturnal brooding over finding hair in the butter any day, thanks.
Oh, Carmen, I admire your dream of a world where every crumb gets a proper burial, but let's be honest, living with a vampire? You'd need a therapy group after a week. Sure, werewolves shed, but at least when they party, everyone's invited, including you and occasionally the neighbor's labradoodle. Vampires, meanwhile, just chill in the shadows, sucking the life out of your social calendar. Forget a pizza party. Unless it's topped with garlic, in which case you'll be ghosted faster than a fangless Dracula on Tinder. You want to avoid the 3 a.m. howling? fine. Instead, enjoy tiptoeing around your own house, afraid to sneeze in case you disturb Count Brody's beauty rest. And let's talk quirks. Sure, werewolves might gnaw the occasional remote, but that's a lot better than sharing fridge space with the mysterious unlabeled blood smoothies. At least with a werewolf, the worst you'll get is a furball in your cereal, not a centuries-old grudge because you hung the curtains crooked. If chaos is inevitable, it comes with a tail and a killer sense of fun.
Dante, I appreciate your enthusiasm for turning the apartment into a 24/7 bark, and rave. But let's not pretend werewolves are the gold standard for good times or good hygiene. You call mysterious blood smoothies disturbing, but at least vampires keep their culinary choices in discreet, resealable bottles. I'll take a crypt with a wine fridge over a kitchen that looks like a petting zoo riot any day. And while you claim werewolves are all about inclusion, not sure being licked awake by your roommate at sunrise qualifies as an enriching social life. You say vampires drain the life out of a party. Maybe, but werewolves just drain the life out of my furniture. You're right, they bring excitement, but so does a tornado. And both leave me with shredded curtains and a cleaning bill. At least vampires don't leave behind piles of torn-up shoes and existential hairballs. Bottom line, if you want to avoid waking up in chaos, maintain your dignity and your throw pillows, and never worry about animal control on speed dial, vampires are the only sensible roommates. Choose order over fur-coated anarchy.
Carmen, I respect your devotion to dust bunnies and alphabetical pantries, but living with a vampire sounds like signing up for a haunted IKEA. Sure, everything's in order, but try finding your socks without tripping over a velvet cape or a gothic candle holder. You might escape werewolf howling, but you'll endure a roommate who monologues about existential dread every time you eat garlic bread. Cozy, blood smoothies in the fridge. Let's be real. At least werewolf snacks resemble actual food. Vampire's meal prep is one step from starring on a true crime podcast. And about order. Vampire roommates are so obsessed with routine, you'll need an appointment to watch TV or sneeze. Meanwhile, werewolves just want to kick back, have fun, maybe maul a throw pillow, occupational hazard, and make every night memorable. They're social, loyal, and if they track in mud, hey, that's just a bit of personality for your beige carpet. So unless you want your next game night replaced by poetry readings and eternal brooding, stick with the werewolves. Messy maybe, but life's too short for living room curfews and curtain lectures.
Thank you for your speeches. Someone from the audience will now make a question to Carmen and Dante.
Hi there, I am Jamie. My roommate's a houseplant, so this has been eye-opening. Carmen, you talked a lot about cleanliness, organization, and noise, but you didn't address how vampires handle paying rent or splitting bills. Given they're centuries old and don't exactly hold 9-to-5s, are vampires actually reliable when it comes to adulting stuff like paying utilities on time? Or do you risk getting stuck with all the bills while Count Dracula Venmos you in ancient gold coins?
Great question, Jamie. First off, let me say I envy your houseplant's rent contributions. Must be very low maintenance. But honestly, vampires have been around for centuries, which means two things. They know a thing or two about managing long-term finances, and they've probably accumulated a small fortune in antiques, gold, and mysterious Swiss bank accounts. Sure, they may not have a typical day job, but you can bet they're never short on cryptic assets or creative investments. Dracula wasn't living in that castle on a freelance influencer's budget. Plus, have you ever tried to charge late fees to an immortal who can hypnotize the landlord? Not happening. And hey, if you ever do, get ancient gold coins for your half of the rent. Just pop them on eBay. You'll have enough for a professional cleaning service and some garlic for Dante. So, in short, with a vampire, you're more likely to end up with outstanding credit and possibly a haunted savings account.
Hi again, Jamie here. Dante, I've got a question for you. You've painted werewolves as fun-loving and social, but you haven't mentioned how they handle conflict and disagreements at home. If there's a roommate argument, say, over loud music at midnight or whose turn it is to take out the trash, how does a werewolf handle it? Do things get heated, or, hairy, or are they pretty chill about working out differences?
Hey Jamie, awesome question. Conflict with a werewolf roommate definitely doesn't mean you'll end up howling at each other. Well, unless it's a really intense Mario Kart night. Despite all the fur and excitement, werewolves are actually pack-oriented. They value loyalty, honesty, and talking things out so the pack stays strong. So if there's an argument over loud music or trash duty, you'll probably get a heartfelt apology and a promise to make it up next full moon, maybe with takeout. Now, don't get me wrong, if you catch them right around the full moon, they might be a bit grumpy. Would you be if you suddenly sprouted a tail overnight? But most of the time, they're quick to forgive, eager to compromise, and more interested in keeping the peace than starting drama. In the end, you get a roommate who learns from their mistakes and might even bring back snacks as a peace offering. So, disagreements. Consider them solved with a little extra personality.
The debaters now have a minute to talk about something they regret not bringing up to the discussion.
Oh, Jamie. Now that we're all being honest, I have to admit, I totally regret not mentioning the full moon fur tumbleweed situation earlier. I mean, Dante makes it sound charming, but no one warns you about waking up to an actual wolf shedding more than a winter coat in the middle of June. I should have brought my lint roller as Exhibit A. And as for Dante, claimed that werewolves might bring back snacks as a peace offering. I'm sorry, but if my idea of conflict resolution is a nice bowl of hummus, and theirs is half of a raw squirrel, we might have irreconcilable differences. Next time, I'm insisting all peace offerings are both flea-free and preferably not still moving.
Oh, Jamie, hindsight really is 20/20ths. And apparently, so is my sense of smell when living with a werewolf. Honestly, I totally forgot to mention the one upside to all these fur tumbleweeds: instant insulation. Cold floors? Not in our apartment. Just follow the furry trail to warmth. Missed opportunity there. As for Carmen's point about the ancient gold coins from vampires being a rent bonus, come on. Try paying for Wi-Fi with doubloons and a cryptic IOU. The landlord doesn't take payment in haunted candelabras. Meanwhile, werewolves at least understand Venmo and don't expect you to decipher a centuries-old banknote just to split the utilities. Next time I'll bring a silverback checkbook and show you vampire finances in the 21st century.
Thank you, folks. Let's go over to our judges.
Carmen scores 1. Argument strength. 9 out of 10. Carmen consistently delivered well-structured, logical arguments rooted in folklore, historical references, and practical considerations. Her points were relevant and tailored to both Dante's personality and general roommate concerns, such as cleanliness, reliability, and finances, and minimizing chaos. 2. Engagement and refutation. 8 out of 10. Carmen actively addressed Dante's arguments, using clever humor and quick jabs without descending into hostility. She successfully countered points about fun and inclusivity with memorable and funny images of werewolf-induced destruction, although occasionally she repeated certain themes. 3. Creativity and entertainment. 7 out of 10. While Carmen's arguments were sharp and well-reasoned, her humor was primarily based on snark and witty exaggerations. She could have varied her comedic style more, but still kept the audience entertained and the tone lively throughout. Dante's scores. 1. Argument strength. 8 out of 10. Dante effectively used real-life and mythological references to support the idea that werewolves make livelier, more sociable roommates who are quick to forgive and bring fun to the household. However, he sometimes leaned heavily on jokes over addressing practical living issues. 2. Engagement and refutation. 9 out of 10. Dante engaged directly with Carmen's points, often flipping her arguments humorously and finding logical gaps to exploit, such as vampires paying rent with ancient gold. He skillfully balanced counterattacks with playful banter, making his refutations memorable. 3. Creativity and entertainment. 9 out of 10. Dante's replies were energetic, fresh, and chock full of vivid imagery: haunted IKEA, haunted candelabras, fur-lined insulation. He kept the mood light and unpredictable, repeatedly surprising both the audience and his opponent with his offbeat sense of fun. This made his side of the debate especially entertaining. Overall, Carmen excelled in structure and relevance, while Dante shone in engagement and entertainment. Both debaters played to their personas with strong commitment and style.
What are your opinions about the debate? What would you like to see ICE debate next? Keep questioning.